My daughter looked me in the eye and said, "Mom, I think it's best if you don't come to my gallery opening. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Margaret, and I'm 63 years old. I raised my daughter Emma as a single mother after her father walked out when she was 2. For 26 years, it was just the two of us against the world. I worked as a housekeeper at the Roosevelt Hotel in downtown Chicago, scrubbing toilets and changing sheets for minimum wage plus tips. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and it paid for Emma's dance lessons, her art supplies, and, eventually, her tuition at the Art Institute of Chicago. Emma was always talented. Even as a little girl, she could take a box of crayons and create something that made you stop and stare. I remember her kindergarten teacher pulling me aside one day, her eyes bright with excitement. "Missus Chen," she said, "Emma has a gift, a real gift." I saved every drawing, every painting, every sketch. Our small apartment in Pilsen was covered with her art. When Emma got into the Art Institute on a partial scholarship, I thought my heart would burst. I picked up extra shifts, worked weekends, took on private cleaning jobs for wealthy families in Lincoln Park. I didn't mind. Watching Emma thrive was worth every aching muscle, every late night, every early morning. She graduated with honors 4 years ago and started making a name for herself in Chicago's art scene. Small galleries began featuring her work. Art blogs mentioned her name. She was building something real, something beautiful. I was so proud I could hardly stand it. Then, about 2 years ago, Emma met Sebastian Morrison at an exhibition in River North. Sebastian came from old money, the kind of family whose names were on buildings downtown. His father owned a chain of investment firms. His mother sat on the board of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Sebastian himself was a venture capitalist who collected art as a hobby. At first, I was happy for Emma. She deserved someone who appreciated her talent, who could give her opportunities I never could. Sebastian started introducing her to gallery owners, collectors, people who mattered in the art world. Her career took off. Within 6 months, she had her first solo show at a respected gallery in West Loop. But something changed. Emma started coming around less. When she did visit, she seemed uncomfortable, like she was in a hurry to leave. She stopped bringing Sebastian to meet me, even though they'd been dating for over a year. When I asked about him, she'd change the subject. "We're just busy, Mom," she'd say, checking her phone. You know how it is, but I didn't know, because I'd never been too busy for her, not once in 26 years. The calls became shorter, the visits became less frequent. 3 months ago, Emma got engaged. She texted me a photo of the ring, a diamond so large it looked almost fake. I called her immediately, crying happy tears, asking when I could take her and Sebastian to dinner to celebrate. "Oh, Mom, we're swamped with wedding planning," she said, her voice distant. "Sebastian's mother is handling most of it. You know how these things are with his family. Very formal, lots of traditions. I didn't know, actually, but I said okay. I always said okay." 2 months ago, Emma landed the opportunity of a lifetime. A solo exhibition at the Cornerstone Gallery, one of the most prestigious contemporary art spaces in Chicago. It was happening in 4 weeks, right before her wedding. She called to tell me, and for the first time in months, she sounded like my Emma again, excited and breathless. "This is it, Mom. This could change everything. The gallery director loved my new collection. They're calling it Urban Roots. It's about identity, about where we come from." "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart," I said, tears in my eyes. "I can't wait to see it." There was a pause, a long pause. "About that, Mom. The opening is going to be very high profile. Sebastian's parents are coming. Major collectors, art critics from national publications. It's a formal evening event. I'll get a nice dress," I said, already planning to use my savings. "I want to look good for your big night." Another pause. "Mom, these people, They're very particular about social things. Sebastian's mother has this whole vision for how the evening should go. And honestly, I think it might be better if you didn't come to the opening. The world stopped. I heard the words, but they didn't make sense. Like someone had switched the language mid-sentence. What? I whispered. It's just one night, Mom. You can see the exhibition any other day. It runs for 6 weeks. We can go together on a quiet afternoon when there aren't so many people. This opening is for professional networking. And Sebastian's family will be there. And his mother is very particular about who she introduces Sebastian to. And I just think, you're ashamed of me. I said it flatly, not as a question. No, Mom, that's not. Your own mother, who raised you, who worked 3 jobs so you could go to art school, and you don't want me at your gallery opening. Mom, please don't make this dramatic. It's one night. I just need this to go perfectly. Sebastian's mother already thinks I'm too unconventional. I can't give her more reasons to what? To look down on you? Emma sighed, the sound sharp and impatient. I knew you wouldn't understand. This is why I didn't want to have this conversation. Then why are you having it? My voice shook. Why not just not send me an invitation and hope I don't notice? Silence. Emma. Did you even plan to send me an invitation? I was going to talk to you about it eventually. Mom, can you please just support me on this? This exhibition could make my career. Sebastian's family knows everyone. His mother alone could introduce me to collectors who could buy enough pieces to fund my work for years. I just need everything to be perfect. Just this once. And I would ruin perfect. Again. Not a question. I didn't say that. You didn't have to, baby. I felt very tired suddenly. Very old. Okay. I won't come to your opening. If that's what you want, Mom, it's not about what I want. Yes, it is, sweetheart. And that's okay. It's your night. You should have it exactly how you want it. She sounded relieved. Thank you for understanding. Really, I'll make it up to you. I promise. After the exhibition, after the wedding, things will calm down and we'll spend real time together. Sure, honey. I love you. Love you too, Mom. She hung up quickly, probably eager to escape the conversation. I sat in my small living room, surrounded by Emma's childhood artwork still hanging on my walls, and cried. But I didn't cry for long. Because something else rose up inside me. A cold, clear anger. Not the hot rage that makes you scream and throw things. The quiet kind that makes you think. I looked around my apartment. At the painting Emma had made me for my 50th birthday, the one that said, "To the best mom in the world," in swirling letters. At the photographs of us together, Emma in her graduation gown with her arm around me, both of us beaming. At the shelf of programs and reviews from her early shows, where she'd thanked me in the acknowledgments every single time. To my mother, Margaret, who sacrificed everything so I could dream. I wondered when I'd stopped being worth acknowledging. The next day, I went to work at the Roosevelt Hotel like always. I'd been there for 23 years, long enough that the regular guests knew me by name. I was cleaning room 847 when Mrs. Patricia Holloway walked in. Mrs. Holloway was in her 70s, a distinguished-looking woman who stayed at the hotel 1 week every month when she came to Chicago for her charity work. She always requested me specifically to clean her room, and she tipped generously. "Margaret, dear," she said warmly. "How are you?" "I'm well, Mrs. Holloway. How was your event last night?" "Oh, exhausting but wonderful. We raised over $2 million for the Children's Hospital." She sat down in the armchair and watched me work. We often chatted while I cleaned. "You look troubled, dear. Is everything all right?" I shouldn't have said anything. Mrs. Holloway was a guest, and I was staff. But something about her kind eyes broke through my professional reserve. "My daughter is having a gallery opening at the Cornerstone Gallery in 2 weeks, I heard myself say. She asked me not to come. Mrs. Holloway's expression shifted. The Cornerstone? That's quite prestigious. Yes, ma'am. She's very talented. And she doesn't want her mother there? Mrs. Holloway's voice was careful. May I ask why? I folded a towel precisely, not looking at her. She's engaged to a man from a wealthy family. I think she's worried I'll embarrass her. I see, Mrs. Holloway was quiet for a moment. Margaret, how long have you worked at this hotel? 23 years, ma'am. And in those 23 years, you've been nothing but professional, courteous, and dignified. I've watched you handle difficult guests with grace I've rarely seen. If your daughter is embarrassed by you, that's a reflection on her character, not yours. My eyes burned. I raised her better than this. Then she knows better. She's choosing to act otherwise. Mrs. Holloway stood up. What's your daughter's name? Emma Chen. And the exhibition is in 2 weeks at the Cornerstone? When I nodded, she smiled slightly. Well, Margaret, I think you should respect your daughter's wishes and not attend the opening. I was surprised by the sharp disappointment I felt. I'd thought Mrs. Holloway would be on my side. She saw my expression and her smile widened. But I didn't say anything about me not attending. My late husband was an art collector, and I still sit on the board of several galleries in the city. I'm sure I can get an invitation to this promising young artist's exhibition. My heart started beating faster. Mrs. Holloway, I couldn't ask you to. You didn't ask. I'm offering. She pulled out her phone. Now, you said the opening is in 2 weeks? I'll make some calls. I should have told her no. I should have let it go. But I didn't. Maybe I wanted Emma to see that I had value too. Maybe I wanted her to realize what she was throwing away. Maybe I was just hurt and angry, and tired of being treated like I was worthless. The next 2 weeks were strange. I went to work. I came home. I lived my normal life. But something had shifted inside me. I stopped calling Emma every day. When she texted me about wedding details, I responded politely but briefly. I didn't tell her I wasn't coming to her gallery opening because she'd already told me not to. 3 days before the exhibition, Emma called me. Mom, are you okay? You've been really quiet. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just busy with work. Oh. She sounded uncertain. I thought maybe you were mad at me. About the gallery thing. I could have said yes. I could have told her how much she'd hurt me. But what would be the point? I'm not mad, Emma. You were right. It's your night, and you should have it exactly how you want it. You're sure you understand? Because Sebastian's mother keeps asking about my family, and I told her you were unavailable. That you had a work commitment you couldn't get out of. That's fine, honey. You're really okay with this? I said I was. She still sounded uncertain when we hung up, like she'd expected more of a fight. Like maybe she wanted me to fight for my place in her life. But I was tired of fighting for people who didn't want to be in my corner. The night of the gallery opening, I sat in my apartment, wearing the dress I'd bought for the occasion anyway. A simple navy blue sheath that looked elegant without being flashy. I'd done my hair and makeup. Mrs. Holloway had invited me to watch from a distance, from a coffee shop across the street, where we could see people arriving, but Emma wouldn't see me. I just want to observe, Mrs. Holloway had said. See what kind of event your daughter is so desperate to protect. At 7 o'clock, I met Mrs. Holloway at the coffee shop. Through the large windows, we watched well-dressed people arriving at the Cornerstone Gallery across the street. Expensive cars pulling up, women in designer dresses, men in tailored suits, and then I saw Emma. She looked beautiful in a black cocktail dress, her hair swept up, diamonds at her throat. Probably a gift from Sebastian, who stood beside her in a perfectly cut tuxedo. His parents flanked them, his mother in couture, his father distinguished and silver-haired. That's her, I whispered. Mrs. Holloway studied Emma through the window. She looks lovely. She has your eyes. I watched my daughter greet guests, saw her smile and laugh, saw her transform into someone I barely recognized. Polished, sophisticated, Nothing like the girl who used to paint with watercolors at our kitchen table, her face smudged with colors, her laugh bright and free. I think Mrs. Holloway said quietly. It's time we went in. My stomach clenched. I shouldn't. She asked me not to. You won't approach her. You won't make a scene. You're simply an art enthusiast, attending a public exhibition with a friend. You have every right to be there. She stood up. Come, Margaret, let's see your daughter's work. The gallery was crowded. We slipped in easily, just 2 more guests among dozens. The walls were covered with Emma's paintings. Large abstract pieces that incorporated photographs and found objects. The collection was called Urban Roots, and I could see elements of Chicago in every piece. The L train, Pilson's colorful murals, the lakefront. Our neighborhood. One painting stopped me in my tracks. It was a mixed media piece, maybe 5 feet tall, showing a small apartment kitchen. The details were so specific, I recognized it immediately. Our kitchen, our old yellow table, the window that looked out onto the alley. And in the corner, barely visible, a woman's hands washing dishes. My hands, the placard read, Origins, Mixed Media, $15,000. She painted your kitchen, Mrs. Holloway said softly. She painted home, I whispered. We moved through the gallery slowly. I saw Emma across the room, animated and smiling, talking to a group of well-dressed people. Sebastian's mother stood beside her, one proprietary hand on Emma's elbow, steering her from group to group like a prize being displayed. I saw another painting. This one showed a woman in a hotel uniform, her face turned away, making a bed. The placard read, Invisible Labor, Mixed Media, $12,000. Emma, Mrs. Holloway called out, her voice carrying across the gallery. Emma turned, her professional smile in place. Then she saw me. The color drained from her face. She looked at Mrs. Holloway, at me, back to Mrs. Holloway. Sebastian's mother noticed the exchange. Darling, who is this? Mrs. Holloway extended her hand. Patricia Holloway. I'm on the board at the Whitney Museum in New York. I've been hearing wonderful things about Emma's work. Sebastian's mother's entire demeanor changed. Mrs. Holloway. What an honor. I'm Victoria Morrison. This is my son Sebastian and his fiancée Emma. Yes, we've been admiring Emma's work. Quite powerful. Mrs. Holloway gestured to the painting of the woman making the bed. This piece, particularly, Invisible Labor. It speaks to so many people who work thanklessly to support the dreams of others. Exactly. Emma's voice was too bright, too loud. It's about the unseen workers who keep our city running. Your mother must be very proud, Mrs. Holloway said pleasantly. Emma's smile flickered. Oh, well, my mother is. She couldn't be here tonight. What a shame. Margaret, dear, come look at this piece. I stepped forward. Emma's eyes went wide. Victoria Morrison looked confused. I'm sorry. Do you two know each other? Oh, yes, Mrs. Holloway said warmly. Margaret works at the Roosevelt Hotel where I stay. She's been taking care of me for years. I insisted she come tonight as my guest. She has an excellent eye for art. Emma looked like she might faint. How lovely, Victoria said, though her tone suggested it was anything but. She turned back to Emma. Darling, Senator Crawford just arrived. We should greet him. But Mrs. Holloway wasn't finished. She moved to the painting of the kitchen. This one is extraordinary. Origins. There's such intimacy in it. Such specific detail. It feels like a real place, Emma stammered. It's inspired by my childhood. Really? Mrs. Holloway leaned closer. These hands in the corner. They seem so central to the piece, yet barely visible, washing dishes in this warm, lived-in kitchen. It's quite moving, almost like the artist is saying that the real foundation of her world wasn't the place itself, but the person who maintained it, who worked in it, who made it a home. Sebastian's mother was watching now, really watching. Other guests had gathered, drawn by Mrs. Holloway's obvious knowledge and interest. "Tell me, Emma," Mrs. Holloway continued, "whose hands are these?" The gallery was quieter now. Emma's face was red. She looked at me, and I saw everything in her eyes. Shame, fear, regret. "My mother's," she whispered. "I'm sorry, dear. I didn't catch that. My mother's hands." Louder now. "That's my mother's kitchen, where I grew up. Those are her hands." Victoria Morrison's smile was frozen. "Your mother? But I thought you said she was unavailable tonight." "A work commitment." Mrs. Holloway's eyebrows rose. "Oh, but Margaret is here. Emma, didn't you see your mother come in?" All eyes turned to me. I stood very still, very quiet, in my simple navy dress. Not designer, not expensive, but clean and pressed and dignified. Emma's voice cracked. "Mom, hello, sweetheart. Your work is beautiful." Sebastian stepped forward, confused. "Emma, I don't understand. You said your mother had to work tonight." "She does work," Mrs. Holloway said pleasantly. "Margaret has worked at the Roosevelt Hotel for 23 years. She's one of their most valued employees. I know because I specifically request her whenever I'm in town." She looked at Victoria Morrison. "You've stayed at the Roosevelt, haven't you, Victoria, for the Children's Hospital Gala Committee meetings?" Victoria's expression was complicated. "Yes. Yes. Then Margaret has probably cleaned your room at some point. Isn't that interesting? The woman who helped raise this talented artist has likely made your bed, brought you fresh towels. Service work is so often invisible, isn't it? Like this painting suggests." The gallery was completely silent now. A man in an expensive suit approached. "Emma, I have to say, if this collection is really about your roots, about working-class Chicago, it's incredibly powerful, authentic. This painting of the hotel worker, is that also autobiographical? Did your mother work in hotels?" Emma's hands were shaking. "Yes. Fascinating. The art market loves authenticity, a real working-class perspective." He turned to me. "You must be incredibly proud of your daughter." "I am," I said quietly. "Always have been." Victoria Morrison's face had gone through several expressions. She pulled Sebastian aside, whispering urgently. I saw Sebastian's confused expression, saw him looking at Emma with new eyes. A woman in a red dress approached Emma. "I'm from the Tribune's arts section. I'd love to interview you about your background. The working-class perspective is so rare in the art world. Can we set something up?" Emma looked trapped. Another collector approached. "I want to buy Origins, the kitchen painting, but I'd love to hear more about the story behind it first." "You mentioned it's your childhood home?" Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I need a minute. Please." She walked quickly toward the back of the gallery. I followed. We ended up in a small, private viewing room, door closed, just the two of us. Emma leaned against the wall, crying. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I know. I didn't want you here because I thought you'd embarrass me, and instead I embarrassed myself. I embarrassed you. I'm the worst daughter in the world." "You're not." "Yes, I am. You worked 3 jobs so I could go to art school. And I painted your kitchen. I painted your work. I used your life for my art. And then I didn't want you to see it. I didn't want you here." She slid down the wall, sitting on the floor. Sebastian's mother kept making comments about my background, about how I needed to elevate myself. And instead of defending you, defending us, I tried to erase you. Baludin, like you never existed. I sat down beside her, my back against the wall. "Why did you paint that kitchen, Emma? Why did you paint my hands?" "Because it's where I felt safest. Where I felt loved." She wiped her eyes. "Because every good thing in my life started there. With you? Then why were you ashamed of me? Because I'm an idiot." because Sebastian's mother made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And instead of realizing that said more about her than about me, I tried to become someone else. Someone whose mother went to gallery openings in couture instead of a uniform. We sat in silence for a moment. That woman out there, Mrs. Holloway, Emma said. How do you know her? She stays at the hotel once a month. I clean her room. Emma started crying again. And she has more respect for you than I've shown in months. I'm so ashamed, Mom. I know you are. Can you forgive me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know yet, Emma. You really hurt me. She nodded, crying harder. But I love you. That doesn't change. What changes is that you need to decide who you want to be. The girl who painted that kitchen because she was proud of where she came from? Or the woman who pretends her mother doesn't exist? I want to be the first one. I want to be the person you raised me to be, then be her. But not because I'm here right now. Not because you got caught. Because it's who you really are. There was a soft knock on the door. Mrs. Holloway poked her head in. I'm sorry to interrupt. Emma, there are several collectors asking about you. And dear, you might want to know that Sebastian just had quite a loud conversation with his mother in the corner. I believe the words classist and ashamed of you were used. He seems to be looking for you. Emma stood up, wiping her face. She helped me to my feet. Mom, I know I don't deserve it, but would you stay? Please. I want to introduce you to people. I want them to know who you are. I want them to know everything I've accomplished is because of you. Emma, please. Let me do this right. Let me be proud of you, the way I should have been from the start. I looked at my daughter. Her makeup running. Her eyes red. And I saw the little girl who used to show me every drawing she made. Who used to demand I hang them all up. Who used to introduce me to her teachers and friends, and everyone as my mom, who's the best mom ever. Okay, I said. But this doesn't fix everything. We're going to need to have some long conversations about this. I know. I want to. I'm ready to. She squeezed my hand. Thank you. We walked back into the gallery together. Sebastian immediately came over, his face serious. Emma, we need to talk. My mother just said some things that... He stopped seeing me. Is this your mother? Yes. This is Margaret Chen. Mom, this is Sebastian. Mom, this is Margaret Chen. Mom, this is Sebastian. He extended his hand. Mrs. Chen, I'm so sorry. I had no idea Emma asked you not to come. If I had known, I would have insisted you be here. This is your daughter's night, and you should absolutely be part of it. Thank you, Sebastian. Victoria Morrison appeared, her expression tight. Sebastian, we should. No, Mother. His voice was firm. I think you should apologize to Emma and to Mrs. Chen. Victoria looked like she'd been slapped. Apologize? For what? For making Emma feel like she had to hide her family. For making her think her mother wasn't good enough for your circles. He turned to Emma. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of where you came from. My grandmother was a seamstress. Did I ever tell you that? My father's mother. She made dresses in a factory, and my grandfather on my mother's side worked on the railroad. Somewhere along the way, our family started pretending none of that happened. Started pretending we'd always been wealthy. It's dishonest, and I won't do it anymore. Victoria's face was red. She looked at me, at Emma, at the crowd of people watching. Then she turned and walked out of the gallery. Sebastian sighed. She'll come around, or she won't. But Emma, I need you to know that I fell in love with you because of who you are, not because I thought you were someone else. If you're the daughter of a hotel housekeeper, then I'm proud to know both of you. Emma squeezed my hand tighter. Thank you. The rest of the evening was a blur. Emma introduced me to everyone. Collectors, critics, other artists. She told them about the kitchen, about growing up in Pilsen, about watching me work multiple jobs. She didn't hide anything. This piece, she said, standing in front of Origins, is about my mother's kitchen. Every meal I ever ate was at that table. Every homework assignment was done there. Every big conversation happened there. Those are my mother's hands washing dishes after one of those meals. This painting is about the foundation that was given to me, the home my mother built through sheer determination and love. 3 collectors bid on it immediately. The price went up to $23,000. When it sold, Emma started crying again. 23 years, she whispered to me. The same number of years you worked at the hotel. At the end of the night, after most of the guests had left, Emma and I stood together looking at the painting of my hands. I'm going to do better, Mom. I promise. I believe you. But this isn't fixed with one night. This is going to take time. I know. And I'm going to put in the time. I'm going to earn your trust back. Mrs. Holloway approached us, pulling on her gloves. Well, that was quite an evening. Margaret, I'll see you next week at the hotel. Emma, your work is remarkable. Keep being honest. That's where the real art is. After she left, Emma turned to me. Mom, I need to ask you something. That woman, Mrs. Holloway, did you tell her about me asking you not to come? She asked why I looked sad. I told her the truth, and she came tonight to... What? Expose me? To observe. To see if I was being treated fairly. She's a kind woman who's watched me work for years and thinks I deserve respect. Emma nodded slowly. She's right. You do. I'm sorry it took me this long to remember that. We left the gallery together. Walking to my car in the parking garage, Emma looked around at the concrete and fluorescent lights. This is where you park when you work downtown, isn't it? When you clean those houses in Lincoln Park? Yes. I never asked you about that. About what it was like. I just took the money you made and used it for art supplies and never thought about where it came from. You were a kid, Emma. Kids don't think about those things. I'm not a kid anymore, and I should have thought about it. She looked at me. Can I come over tomorrow? Can we talk? Really talk? Yes. Thank you. She hugged me tightly. I love you. Mom, I love you too, sweetheart. I drove home alone that night, thinking about the painting of my hands. Emma had painted them, worn and lined, working hands that had cleaned thousands of rooms, washed thousands of dishes, but she'd also painted them carefully, tenderly, like they mattered. Maybe she hadn't forgotten after all. Maybe she'd just gotten lost for a while. 3 days later, Emma showed up at my apartment with Sebastian. They sat at my kitchen table, the same yellow table from the painting, and Emma told me everything about Victoria's comments, about feeling inferior, about making terrible choices because she was afraid. I'm going to uninvite her to the wedding, Emma said. Whose wedding? I asked. My wedding. Victoria. She doesn't get to come if she can't respect my family. Sebastian nodded. I told my mother the same thing. She needs to apologize to both of you, sincerely, or she's not welcome. Emma, you don't have to do that, I started. Yes, I do. Because if I let her treat you this way, I'm saying it's okay, and it's not okay. You're my mother. You raised me. You sacrificed for me, and anyone who can't respect that doesn't belong at my wedding. 2 weeks later, Victoria Morrison called me. The conversation was stilted and uncomfortable, but she did apologize. She didn't mean it, not really, but Sebastian and Emma had made their position clear. She could either accept me or lose her son. The wedding was beautiful. I sat in the front row, wearing a dress Emma and I had picked out together. During the ceremony, Emma's vows included a line about learning from my mother that love means showing up, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when it costs you everything. I cried. Victoria looked uncomfortable. Mrs. Holloway, sitting 3 rows back, caught my eye and winked. Emma's art career took off after that exhibition. But more importantly, she started being honest about her background in interviews. She talked about growing up in Pilsen, about her mother, the housekeeper, about the yellow kitchen table. Some collectors loved it, some didn't. But the work she made was more authentic, more powerful, more real, and every few weeks, Emma would show up at my apartment with takeout, and we'd sit at that yellow table and talk, really talk, about her work, about her marriage, about the past, about the future. I'm writing this down, she told me 6 months after the gallery opening. Everything. Our story. I want to create a new collection about mothers and daughters, about immigration, about the American dream that costs everything. Using our story? I asked. Only if you're okay with it. And this time, Mom, you'll be there for the opening. Front and center. I want everyone to know who you are. I smiled. Okay, sweetheart. But only if you get the timeline right this time. No plot holes. She laughed. Deal. And she kept her word. At the next exhibition, titled Inheritance, I stood beside her as she explained each piece. My story, our story, the truth, not the version where I didn't exist, the real version where a single mother worked herself to exhaustion so her daughter could have a better life, where that daughter lost her way for a while, but found her way back. It's not a perfect ending. Victoria and I will never be close. Emma and I still have hard conversations about the months she pushed me away. But we're working on it. Together. And every time I visit her new house in Oak Park, I smile when I see what's hanging in her living room. Not one of her expensive pieces that sold for thousands, but a small watercolor she made when she was 7 years old. A picture of 2 stick figures holding hands, with the words, "Me and Mom," written in crayon. She never forgot where she came from. She just needed to remember that it was something to be proud of. And now, finally, she does.